Do you know how much I make a year? I mean, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. Do you know what would happen if I suddenly decided to stop going into work? A business big enough that it could be listed on the NASDAQ goes belly up. Disappears. It ceases to exist without me. No.
All right, we got that special hour tonight, man. We got that special hour tonight. Brother Theo, are you there?
I am here, brother. I am here.
Oh man, I'm gonna bring some jams in the room, man. Is all right with you, man?
Yeah, man. Let's give him a little something, just a little something. Oh yeah, I like that.
All right, you guys. All right. Hey, you guys, I want to let y'all know, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to that Power Hour. We got a special guest coming into the building. And you know what, man? I was feeling like corn dogs and hot dogs the other day. I'm gonna eat some kale tonight, man. How about that? I'm down for a healthy debate.
Oh,
I'm down for a healthy debate, man. I'm down for a healthy debate.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we got a special caller just called in. Let's first come on to the screen, brother. Let's come on.
Yes. Let's do it.
You know, the people want to see. People will always want to see.
You know it.
And oh man, how you doing? How's everybody doing out there in YouTube land? But brother Thea, how you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. You know what? It's Friday After Freedom, official business podcast. And guess what? We got a special guest. He's going to join us. Next 50 seconds, a special guest. Very nice young lady. And you know what I need everybody? If you're drinking, don't go crazy. Get your cup. If you're smoking, get your smoker shoes. It's going to get spicy. We were spicy before pumpkin spice. So I want everybody to come on in. All our normal favorites join in the chat. And let's have a good night. We're going to have a debate tonight, but it's going to get spicy. Like always, welcome to the Official Business Podcast, where we talk that talk. Friday After Freedom. Let's go.
All right, we got Miss Janice. Miss Janice, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Miss Janice. Oh, well, Miss Janice, special caller, you guys. Theo, may you do the honors.
Yes. Hey, I want to welcome everybody to Miss Janice, young lady out of the great state of California. She is a business owner, been in a business owner for 9 years, going on 10. And hey, she's in the same field that you are. She's feeling your pain. But you know what? She's making it work. And we wanted to bring her on so she can tell us how we can make it work. Give us her story, because we all got a story, good, bad, and the ugly. So, Miss Janice, would you like to introduce yourself and what made you become a business owner in the trucking industry?
Okay, well, my brief story is I was a bus driver here in San Bernardino County, and I drove public transit, and unfortunately, I was injured on the job, and so after having to leave that industry and figuring out what I can do to support myself and driving was my profession, I went and started driving commercially.
Oh, got you. Now, you go from driving a bus, which, it's a good living. It can be interesting meeting a lot of different people. And now you're moving up to Class 8 tractor trailer vehicles. You're seeing the country, you're seeing the world. At what point of that driving did you say, you know what, I want to participate in this industry? Not just participate, but I want to be a business owner. I want to control my narrative. At what point was that decision made? And was it a hard decision? Because, you got to give up a lot when you become a business owner.
Yes. So when I first, got into the industry, I got into the industry not really understanding that I was going to be relinquishing a lot of my freedom. I thought that, I was going to be more in control of my time, and, it was just going to be extremely lucrative. Now that's gone up and down. We've all been riding the wave. But I've I did the rails. I've done the ports, flatbed, reefer, and dry. Um, so I've done every gamut of trucking before I decided to jump on in and become an owner operator. And I love being an owner operator because I do like the freedoms, but with those come the responsibility. And not all the time you're winning. You know, sometimes you take a lot of lumps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You will come home some weekends with a black eye or two.
Especially like right now in the trucking industry. Ms.
Yes.
Janice, since you've been in the trucking industry, the times that people are going through right now, have you experienced this before or seen this before? And how does it feel now that you're going through it?
Well, what I can say from my experience is that trucking is cyclic. So you have these cycles where the money is just flowing, it's easy. You know, you have more options out there when you're looking for loads in your work. And as everyone knows, when COVID hit, I mean, we just were making money hands over fist. We couldn't run the loads fast enough, even with the hours of service, um, you know, put on pause. And so it was back to the old paper log, no log days, where there was a huge turnover. And that's one of the highs. But, you know, what we're in right now is reality. This has happened, you know, to this industry before where, you know, it has the pits and stuff. It was a little bit of a climatic moment because you had not only the load rates dropping, but with the inflation, with the price of parts, price of getting things maintained, the price of diesel, you know, it just created, you know, this really, you know, explosive situation where people were not set up to handle it. So they didn't know how to pivot, or they weren't in a position to pivot and make these adjustments in their business. You know, some of it is bad business, you know, practices. Some of it is just miseducation because you just think you didn't know because you're new. You didn't know that was going to happen. You didn't expect it to happen.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, we can back up. We're in COVID. 70% of the country is shut down, at least the metropolitan cities where the bulk of the loads come out of. Did that make you reevaluate how to run your business? Because now the loads aren't there, the availability, we're seeing parts aren't available, right? Shops were taking longer and longer because of layoffs, because they had to let people go. Mm-hmm. So did that really make you say, you know what, I've got to really restructure how I run my business? I just can't say I'm going to use this load.
All right, out there, yo, you answering the question
now. Well, I can tell you, you know, one of the things that I really had to focus on because of the way that when it comes to maintenance that you're speaking of, is a lot of preventative maintenance, because you can't afford to break down. That breakdown is going to really have you stuck in a bad situation, have you with a claim, especially in a reefer business. So you really need to make sure that you do a lot of preventative maintenance because it will save you. And that's a general statement, but right now you have to really kind of focus on making sure your truck is in tip-top shape because the loads are not paying enough for you to do an impromptu repair.
Oh. Now, what about, so, you know, this is OB, because I'm very, you guys, I'm liking this phone call. Miss Janice, what about the people that hasn't prepped for the bad times or the turn down market financially? Did you have like a standard when you first started your operation? Did you reach out to some people, or did you just have that in your personal life where you like, okay, financially, I know I got to always save something for a rainy day? I'll keep it.
So let me see how I can I can
Yeah.
answer this. Before I started, one
Yeah.
of the things that they did tell me was to make sure, that was passed on from, the elders. Make sure that you have money saved for a rainy day, like you said, to make sure that you have your personal business in order. Because you can't finance when you buy your truck, you can't finance and manage the debt of two things. So you have to have things lined up in your personal life as well as your business, and be set up for things that would pop up. One of the things that I did try to do is just try to manage my overhead. Um, by Before I purchased my truck, I paid down all my personal stuff, so I made sure that that overhead was at a minimum. I didn't make any major purchases or have myself where I was worried about making payments here or there and basically chasing my tail and not being financially sound. One of the things that I also looked into when it came to me getting into the business, thanks to some of my elders again, was discounts, finding a great mechanic that you can trust, that wouldn't gouge you, that I only had one person working on my truck because they would know what was going on with it or what to look for. And so that was a part of making sure that I didn't have breakdowns on the road. I haven't had any breakdowns on the road that have had me out of service, bad inspections, where I didn't make my pickups and deliveries on time. And, that's what you need so that you can make sure that your money is turning over uh, in this business. But definitely overhead, always pricing, doing some price checking um, for discounts for tires, your insurance rates, price that, all that stuff out. But I definitely did a lot of homework.
Wow. Wow. Oh man. Theo, you go ahead, Theo, because
Hey, man,
man, this
she
is,
done hit
I
it out
feel
the
like
park already.
dude, this conversation is like, oh man, like, this is the gold mecca, right? Right.
Correct.
Because it's Denise, the top of the show. Well, you afford to sit it out during these hard times, and just to be clear, I'm talking about, can certain people, not just yourself, would you, now let me change it up. Would you think it would be wise to park your truck for more than 4 months right now? Just park, walk away, then come back when the rates are better. Did not, keep in mind, this is your only source of income.
So I have two different trains of thought on this.
Okay.
So I can't answer it just with one, one
Sure,
answer.
you have the floor. You have the floor.
Yeah. So if I know that right now, if you have built up a cushion, that right now you are operating and eating up that cushion. So you may think, you know what, let me just go ahead, park the truck, especially if you can afford to park it. So say you have those payments saved up and you can go and hop in another company truck because you don't want to be driving your truck and tearing it up on loads that are barely getting it by. So, you may say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and park it and hop in this company truck. You may have to do that, but you may be able to pivot. And that's what I talk about all the time is people pivoting from where they're at now, because you may be, on some tracks like a train. And this is not a train, this is trucking. You have to be able to be a little bit flexible. So you may not be able to stick with running this one lane you want to run from California to Texas and back. That may not be where the money is for you. You may have to go up to the Midwest. You may have to go, up north, but you're going to have to follow the market, because if you want to continue to be an owner operator and you don't want to work for somebody else and you want to make sure that you are still operating in the green, and in the green means you're able to pay for your stuff to me, pay for everything and save, not just living paycheck to paycheck. If you're going to do that, you can drive somebody else's truck and not tear that truck up. That belongs to you.
Correct.
So
Well,
that's
well
how,
done, you got that one. Thank you.
yeah, that's how I
Thank you.
feel. That's how I feel about that now. In my instance, the other train of thought is that with the pivoting, I said, okay, for me, I was running this lane. I was working this category, which is, reefer. It wasn't profitable enough for me. So I switched my commodity. I went into, dry, because it ended up being almost the same without the as much downtime, because reefer has a lot of downtime. They may pay a little bit more, but you can't turn over the loads as much. So that expense from the reefer and also the downtime made me pivot back into dry. So that's how I was able to make sure that I can still operate my business and still support my own personal lifestyle.
All right. All right.
Correct. Well, let me ask you something. You talked about the reefer, and in so many ways you said, hey, you switched it up to a certain degree, right? So when you switched it up, did you switch up the general region that you ran, or did you switch up from saying, okay, if I'm getting into the dry van market, just because of the rates and I have to pay reefer fuel, X, Y, Z, did you go more into full truckload? Did you say I'm going to do partials? Maybe try LTL? Anything like that kind of changed it up and gave you a business steady cash flow from you running that business?
So for me, what I did is, by me being a California company and all the CARB, regulations, I was in a lease where my reefer that I was leasing was aging out. I was having difficulty with even customers that I was pulling loads for frequently. They were like telling me, okay, this reefer is getting up there. We need to have a reefer that is this age, which is under, 5 years and under, in order for you to pull these loads. So my options have started to become more and more narrow. So I couldn't, haul the ice cream loads that were paying top dollar. I couldn't haul, fragile like berries and, certain produce that they were really strict on the year of your unit. So, and it wasn't paying, at point blank. It wasn't paying for the Rolls Royce reefer, but they wanted to pay for a Beetle, transport. It wasn't going to work. So for me,
you didn't want to be Volkswagen Express, huh?
No, did not. With the the air cool instead of, radiator.
Yeah. There you go.
So what when my lease came up and it was time for me to go ahead and make that decision about renewing with a newer unit, the rates just didn't coincide with the cost that it was going to be for me, that I was going to incur for me to upgrade to a newer unit. So I started looking, I had already been, had that swirling around in my head that I was going to have to make a decision. And I didn't make the final decision, honestly, until maybe about 10 days out. But I said, you know what? I can always go back. If this does not work for me, I can always go back and get the reefer. It's not like, I can't go back to what it was, and the market, the produce season picks up, then I can go, and do this again. I can. So I said, I'm going to try this out, because what do they say about, failures? You fail because you don't even try. You got to try.
Correct.
So I went ahead and went and looked at what the loads were, the great difference between reefer and dry, power only loads. And I looked at all of that stuff, and the way that I was able, because I'm in a good area being in California. There's always a lot of loadouts. There's always trailers. So power only doesn't mean that you're always going to get something that's preloaded. You are still going to have the same access if you get a loadout trailer to the same van loads that are out there. Even reefer loads, you can get, as long as your insurance is set up for you to be able to pull that work. I still pull reefer loads. I get a reefer load out. I still pull, van loads because I look at what's going on in the market.
Okay.
And that's how I pick what I'm going to pick, and I see where, where it's going to. And I go from there. But I do partials, and I'm going to tell you.
Hold on, Miss Janice.
What put me,
I don't mean to interrupt you. You guys, I know you guys loving this conversation. So just take a second, hit that like button. Just get them thumbs up. Come on now. Come on, don't be like that. We didn't even put up the Cash App tonight, so we want y'all to show us the generosity and show Miss Janice that you are enjoying this conversation by hitting that like button. Now, come on now, y'all say y'all want unity, you want to support, like button, and go ahead, Miss Janice. Thank you.
Yeah. So, where was that? One of the things that the partials. What put me on game to the partials was a double broker. Double brokers put me on the partials. So I learned how they were over here snatching up the loads from C.H. Robinson and, Best Bay, all these different little places. They take it to their freight forwarding, and then you pick them all up and you run it as one load. Okay. So now they're getting paid, top dollar for all these partial loads, and I'm taking it as one full truckload. With multiple drops. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now you done picked up all the stuff and took it to your freight forwarding, and now I'm taking it to 5 different drop-offs. Now I could have just went, because you just picked them up all around in the same area. I could have did that myself and made the money. So that's how I was, introduced to doing a lot of the LTL. Pick up all these partials, and you end up sometimes, if you look at the rate from point A to point B, where your general region, you might add an extra maybe 150 miles on with your pickups at point A, and then at the end of the day, when you're dropping them off, maybe you added yourself another 200 miles between all of the drops if you have a lot of partials. But I doubled the money that I was making.
Wow.
So because they're going to pay every single person partial that you're picking up, they're going to pay you a certain amount in the in the miles for the amount of feet that's in your truck. Okay.
Wow. Yes.
So it's
selling the space.
That's how. Yes, you're selling. Exactly. You're selling your linear foot in that trailer, and you're getting it from point A to point B.
Hold on.
That's why LTL.
Miss Janice giving y'all that game.
You ain't never lied.
Hey, say, Theo. Now we had some people out there in Wonder World upset the other day when we say you got to think outside the box. You got to push yourself to be greater. They got upset, Theo. They said, "Man, I don't want you talking about my app like that." Janice is telling y'all she finessed the game. But go ahead, Miss Janice.
Well, I mean, it's either that or be like some of these people who are running for nothing.
Yeah.
You're running for nothing or broke down. People say, "Oh, you're still running?" I'm still running, and I'm still in the green. I haven't lost a thing. I don't have the repo man looking for me because I had to pivot, So that's the only way. Like I did not feel like I wanted to get out of reefer because that's what I was used to. And there's nothing, worse than feeling uncomfortable, because we all like to be comfortable. But I was comfortable running that lane, but it didn't translate into dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had to go ahead and get a little uncomfortable so that I can go ahead and make the moves.
Wow,
Yeah.
Theo.
So that's what I.
That's something you said the other day, Theo.
Hey man, you've heard me scream it. You cannot allow yourself to be uncomfortable. You want to be uncomfortable to the point. Well, comfortable. I apologize. You want to be uncomfortable because uncomfortable make you use your brain, your thought process. You have to come out swinging. Uncomfortability means I will not lose. Comfortability is I'm sitting home till the rates come up. Comfortability is the brokers are taking too much money. They owe me something. They don't owe you nothing. You got to make it work. This young lady decided I'm not going to let the low boy run me. I'm going to run the low. And that's what she's doing, maximizing her trailer, her time. So her business paralysis is working perfect. She's
In loadouts. Hold on now. Hold on. The loadouts.
Yes.
The loadouts.
Mhm.
Man, that's the best of both worlds. She's not losing. She's not.
Because I'm not paying insurance. I have my non-owned trailer, which I did.
Trailer
I
interchange.
did bump. Yes,
Mhm.
I bumped that up. Now this is very important. You got to bump it up because a lot of these trailers are new. So you
Okay.
can't have, the little, lower end of your margins for your trailer interchange. You got to bump it up so whenever you call anybody for a trailer, you can get it. So,
Correct.
you have to definitely do that, but that trailer is another load. So not only is it the stuff that's in there, it's the trailer. So you can use what you're getting paid to move the trailer to also buffer what, so you can get that MPG that you want, that mile per load. You need to make sure that, you work it out. It's not going to be like it was where you could just sit up here and you looking at 10, 15, 20 loads going to where you want to go to, and you could call and say, oh, I'll call you back. You'll be on the phone with these people and you're over here, asking for the details, and they say in the middle of their spiel, oh, my partner already booked it.
Low cover.
That's how tight. Yes. That's how tight the market is right now. So you have to be able to come in with, knowing that for me, knowing that I have a little bit of buffer where I give them a little bit of pushback. It may not be as much because I don't want to lose that, that load. Now I'm not doing nothing for free, but
yes.
I have to already know that there's only so much negotiation here. It's not like before.
Now, but it also, I also hear, you got excuse my language, you got a mean ass trip planning game. Your logistics, your logistics coordinating, right? So okay, I got like you say, I got this buffer. Okay, I see this low. I'm just using a hypothetical number, right? But and correct me if I'm wrong too. Let's say this is going from point A to point B. I'm just making up a city, so it's just relevant. Let's say Memphis, Tennessee to Nashville, right? And you know that you already got 4 loads on your back going to Nashville, and you got enough space in your trailer to get one more load on it. You see it on the load board. Now you go in, you might say my high number is 1,000, right? But the broker is like, okay, I need to be at 850, right? It's like, okay, that is your buffer space. And you're like, okay, I could do the 850. To some people, they may say, oh, 850 is low ball, but you're doing partials. This 850.
You're doing partials.
Yeah.
Can we split it down the middle?
Yeah, because you
I
already
be here, you want to be there.
There you go. And you already got money on your back. And the wheels that you pulling is bringing money. Hey, say, man, I'm giggling. It feels good, Theo, but go ahead, Theo. Go ahead.
I know it feels good because you know what? We're hearing a success story. We're not hearing it's this person's fault. It's that person's fault.
Oh, yeah, hold on. No. Well, we ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. We're gonna
I want to do it.
No, we're gonna call it chess master.
Oh,
this is a chess master.
I think she is the queen of chess tonight. But here's the thing. She took personal accountability for running her business.
Hey, and
we're not hearing that a lot, right?
Well, true. I think it's true.
And I'm not
let's listen to the bones, though. All right. So Miss Janice did say that when she got in this business, she had to look at her finance too, right?
Yes.
And she said something very important. She's like, I can't be paying 2 bills. You got your personal debt, and then you got this new generated business debt. One of those debts got to be.
And you're gonna get new debt with a business.
That's a 3-way debt, man. That's I I don't think anybody can handle three ways
Hey,
now.
they call that the Phil Jackson of trucking. That's that triangle deck.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But go ahead. What you got, man?
Well, I mean, listen, man. I mean, she's putting it where the goats can get it. She's putting it out there. You know, you're gonna get paid a certain amount just to move this trailer, and you can load it out. That's a win-win. Now, understanding your logistics game, win-win. But one of the things I like that she said throughout this interview thus far, I listened to the older guys.
Or
I
the
didn't
market.
come in it thinking I knew everything because I seen somebody on YouTube say this is the best app out here, right? I didn't do that. She said I listened. I understood. I want to have my maintenance right. This is
But-
just a great.
But you're
interview.
gonna get the guys caught up too now. You're gonna get the older guys get caught up like, oh, I told you. But she also said
Mhm.
she paid attention to the market
Correct.
and she evolved her business and her thinking. And then she did bring up she got uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Yes, that lane that she would run from A to B, it's not pain anymore. So
Correct.
instead of just sitting still or just, start this whole let's go and do something toward these brokers. She said that she figured out a way. Right. And
Yeah, because these people that came in, they're coming in, all of these new brokers. If you look at their numbers that start with a 1, 3, 5, 7-digit number, all of them that come in, you can't get if you're factoring, they're not going to be approved because they're too new, or they perhaps have been, caught in some unscrupulous business. You if you see what they're running and what they're operating and how they're making the money, it's a lot of it is off of LTO.
Correct.
ah,
They all have they send you to somewhere where they're doing some freight forwarding. And that's another thing that you just have to start looking at diversifying your business.
yeah,
It may not just be running the truck. You may have to look at getting into freight forwarding, getting into cross dock, getting into different things so that you make sure that you don't perish, because that's right now, if you don't try to have multiple sources of income, it could be outside of this industry, it could be in this industry, you're that one stream of income may not be it.
Correct. Correct.
mhm,
And that's one way of looking at it, right? If you solely focus on one particular thing, especially in this
Hmm.
industry, it can be a downfall because you chose to do only one thing. You have not decided, I'm going to put some creativity in my business. I'm going to look at other avenues of making money, right? At the end of the day, you are still a business owner and you
yeah,
still have to make these decisions. What's in the best interest of your business? And hey, it may not be running lane A to B. It may be running lane A,
Hmm.
skip B, and I'm going into C, but I'm doing it a different way. I'm not just
yeah.
running straight. Mhm.
Well, I'm gonna give a
Like,
disclaimer out there. You guys now, Miss Janice has stated that she's out of California. So the thing is, of course, she's never stated that the way she operates is the standard or everybody should. I'm reading Junkyard Dog that says that loadouts don't work in every area. Um, yeah, yeah. well, yeah,
they stay, and I can tell you that is true, because there are some loads that pay great, and you have a trailer. So I would like to address that,
okay, go ahead.
because there's some loads that are great, right? So if you have an area you want to go into and you can pick up your load out trailer from where you are, right? What you do is you ask for 15 days. Okay. So
She giving
what
y'all the
what
game.
I do so what I do is I get the load, it's going from here to there where I gotta go. I may get there, jump up and down, and then I may have to take something that may not be as palatable to get the trailer to where it needs to get to, but that because the trailer is going to either a not so, you know, um, a low dense area, they will pay for those a lot more money because they know you're not going to get a load that's going up there. You're going to get those, pennies on the dollar loads, or you're going to get something crazy coming out. So they're going to pay you good, but you have to be educated on the market so that before you go ahead and bite off that apple, you know what it's going to cost you. Someone's going to have to absorb it, and it doesn't need to be you.
Hold on, Theo. Did she just basically say, "Know what the hell you're doing"? She said,
That's what it sounded like. She said,
"What does that sound like?"
I mean, I thought we was gonna get spicy, but she kind of got too spicy with the gut punch.
No, she's like the spokesperson for like Apple. When you're like, why do I have to update my phone every day? And then Janice come out. Well, you look here that the software we are developing is more safer. Do you have a little one? And people are like, yeah, I guess it's not bad.
There you go.
Yeah. Junkyard
go.
Dog said, I looked into that over here on the East Coast. Oh, Junkyard. So Junkyard Dog said, I looked into that over here on the East Coast. Oh, it sounds like he's trying to diversify too, and things like that, and just sharing some of his experience.
Well,
But
well, if you're looking for that on the East Coast, right there in Virginia, I can't remember the town, Utility. A lot of their trailers go all over the country, and they're always looking for loadout brokers.
Hold on now, Theo.
Now I want to get with
this ain't your moment. This is not your moment. It's Janice's moment. Okay.
She like, oh no, you didn't. Oh,
yeah,
no, you didn't.
Here comes Theo. Hey, you guys, hold on. Hi, East Coast. I got you.
But Miss Janice, you know what? We're gonna run a quick commercial break.
You can get a load out. If you get a load out here in California, it might say it's going to Indiana, but you get you a real nice load that's going up to Pennsylvania, going here or there. You just get you something coming back.
Yeah.
You can always overshoot where you got to take the trailer. Just get enough time on it. And
There you
right now
go.
they're giving you, without argument, they're giving you 10 days
Mm.
Wow.
because they know the market is terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, see, hold on now. Hold on. We got to put the cash app up here now, man. Miss Janice can't. Here go the thing. I want to say it to the people in the back. This young lady right here is doing a damn deal. And y'all see how quiet we are. Yeah,
There
now
you
I'm gonna
go.
tell y'all know this show. We get quiet when we have a guest that knows their stuff. All right. And this
Never lie.
is remarkable, right? I know that people are going through hard times. And I know that people are like, hey man, I need to do this. But we don't want you to make unrational choices emotionally, right? Because you could get caught up in that emotional. Man, I'm a buck the system, radical, right? But you got to hear it, and then you got to take into account California carriers are really pressed against the wall, not only with the federal laws and dealing with the current market, but their state laws too as well, and their equipment and the taxes. So this is showing you're listening to a carrier that's making it work, even when most says that this market is just bankrupting everybody, and they are not in the California state. They're
No.
probably in the Midwest, Illinois, So I digress, but let's go to your Miss Janice. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
One of
Miss
the things that
Janice,
I
if you're
recommend people to do is
Mhm.
I recommend you to run reverse searches when you're looking for loads, and really because the market changes and stuff like that. Just look. I look at the load boards even if I'm already loaded, just so I can be on top of what's to come. I don't want to be blindsided, so I look at it all the time. I'm like, okay, what's out here? Who's out here? Who has these loads? And I look. Some people, when they're looking at the load boards, they only look at loads that have been up there for 2 hours, 4 hours. I search back, 24, 48 hours, and I want to see what they haven't been able to move. Because you'll see the lane, you'll
There
see
you
the
go.
load, you'll
Don't
see the weight.
Yeah.
Hey.
I noticed she paying attention to the trend. She's looking at the
Yeah.
market trend. She said,
Mhm.
Hey, Pimp, let me say this. Miss Janice, you're doing what a company was trying to sell last year for $5,000. You're literally looking at the market and the lanes and what they're doing in a 3 to 4 day time period. And they was trying to sell that for 5,000, and you're doing it on your own. We got one here. We got one here now. Come on.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, but go ahead, Miss Janice. Wait, let her finish.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if there's any other questions like about how now I don't have all the answers. Like I said, I learn from other people too, but I listen. I never act like I know everything, because as soon as you do, that's when somebody's gonna make a fool out of you. So I just listen to what everybody has to say, see what's going on, so I can learn, so I can make sure that I don't make those same mistakes. I try to avoid them, because right now you can't afford it. Can't afford to make a mistake.
Yes, and I agree. Because right now, I had this discussion with people, and I heard the tragedy stories. A man, I'm dealing with this broker and not getting paid. I seen a post earlier today. It was going to the VA over here in Dallas, the veteran hospital over here in Dallas, where this guy, Junkyard Dog. Thanks to Junkyard Dog. Junkyard Dog sent me a text, and we're gonna talk about when he gets on here. But just give y'all just a brief. The person found out what the broker was making on the load, and they put it up there on the load board, blasting the broker, blaming, oh man, the broker kept more money. Now, I did say this, and I'm not, and it's just my statement, right? Nobody else. If you negotiated 1,800 and you find out the broker got 2,700, who are you upset at?
You should upset at yourself.
Oh,
because at the end of the day, you were okay with what you got, and that's what if you found out they made more, that's just other extra information. But it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that you were okay with running it for that 1,800.
Oh.
Facts. Personal accountability.
And that's where I'm seeing this industry. I'm seeing, and I don't see this as long term. I don't see this as behavior or mindset that's going to last 6 months from now. The reason why I don't see it, because it's like what you're saying too. You got to understand, sometimes in this industry, you're going to learn. You're going to learn that, hey, man, the broker made more off this load. All right. Instead of looking at that like, oh, man, I need to call this broker back and get more money. Come on, pimp. You already enter into a contract or agreement that is binding. You're not getting any more money. So let's stop the high.
And you're not going to drop it because you don't want a freight wave or a carrier 411. So you just going to have to eat it.
Yeah. And learn from it now. See, learn what the broker charged on the load. Look at the specification, itemization, and then just apply it to your business. I don't get it. People are actually bidding their number and then getting upset when they find out, oh, man, the broker got more. Then why didn't you bid more? Well, I probably would have never got the load. Okay. Then
So what was more important to you?
Yeah.
What was more important? You have to, pick what it is that is more important to you. If you could never have afforded to run that load at that rate, don't accept it. Don't accept it. It's not anyone else's, fault that you did that. We hear, like, I've done loads down. I go all over the U.S. Okay. I've gone down to Florida and people say, hey, man, they don't pay. I do a lot of deadheading because I don't want to carry your 42 and a half, 43K load. I don't care if it's 100 miles or 200 $2,000, I don't want to carry it and break down my truck. So I just would rather deadhead to an area where I can get the work that I'm going to get, and then I'm driving there deadheading, get 9 miles, to the gallon instead of 6.5.
Correct.
And I put, when I know I'm going into those areas, I put that as a part of my equation. I know that when I get to XYZ, that I am going to deadhead out of there at least 200 miles. And anybody that's done flatbed, you deadhead a lot. So you already, I've had that kind of instilled in me where I'm okay with the deadhead, because I'm not going to tear up my truck coming down just because I don't want to pay for the fuel. Okay, so you would rather get this load that's going to pay you nothing and then risk a blowout or messing something else up, and it ain't even going to cover whatever was tore up.
Yeah. And we are here, Miss Janice. And in this time right now, in this point of this industry, I bump heads with owner operators over this subject, right? Because I can understand like chargeback and things of that nature, but some of the conversations and the things that I see, I'm like, guys or men or women are getting upset at the biddings. And I'm like, you guys are participating in a bid. And then when you lose the bid, you blame the app. When you win the bid, you blame the broker and say that broker could have gave you more. And then it's a never ending conversation. But my thing goes back to, why did you take it? Why did you put,
you got to be accountable.
Yeah. Because
for the decision and the choice you made.
Yeah. I agree. And here goes a side note. I'm taking you guys. I'm taking a side note. People are like, okay, government need to step in, and I'm like, I participate in a lot of government bidding. You know that the government does procurements by bidding, right? If y'all see some of the bids, you talking about this is low.
Yeah.
Try a $20 million project. A $20 million project, and somebody bids $8 million. You're like, dude, ain't no way you're gonna get the material. And the government like, oh, he won that procurement. You're like, people like, well, hold on. If we bring government in and regulate the brokers, then we are going to be, we're going to be big. But go ahead, Miss Janice. I know I did my side note.
Yeah, because trucking was once regulated. You know, the market, the spot market is an open market. It is for you to bid on and for people to place their loads. If they start coming in and structuring that, you know, if you think that it's going to actually cause us to have more freedoms and it's going to be regulated, people can't take more than what they're supposed to, you may cause yourself to have even more stricter guidelines and incur more expense instead of, you know, freeing up money. You may end up paying out more money, and I know I don't want to pay not another tax.
Correct.
But that's what you may be looking at. If you, I just want to go back to the whole bidding thing and the apps when you were talking about that.
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever you pick or you bid, you need to know as a business, like we talk about, you know, the day-to-day functions of trip planning, you know, and I can go down that rabbit hole about trip planning. We do that another day. If you know what it costs you to run your truck, do not go under that number. That's it. It just doesn't make any sense for you to do that. So once you are set at your bottom line and you accept that, then that's what it is. And that's how you go forward. And then you don't have any issues if you do not get the bid, because you know that you couldn't afford to run it anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Miss Janine,
I
and
like her. I
you,
like her.
you might have covered it, you might not, but do you think the last, I want to say 18 months, do you think it gave a lot of people a false sense of security of the market in this trucking industry, right? It made people more relaxed because the numbers were there and it wasn't much effort to get the number. Do you think it maybe gave people this false pretense and not looking at what their truck actually, what they need for that load to actually make that truck makes money, right? Because now we're seeing
Because
they reversed, right? So do you think that time kind of gave it a false pretense for a lot of guys and they just ran these
oh,
loads,
I
you know?
I believe that it um because social media and a lot of people who um inflate the money that they are and are not making, ca- you know, can draw people into this industry, and I think that is what it did. I think that people came in here when they saw people making this money. They said, "Oh, okay, we're gonna come here. We're gonna make all this money, and this is what it is." That that amount of money that we were getting, you
Hmm.
know, right during like barely pre-COVID, it was pretty good.
Right.
It was pretty consistent. But then, once again, when COVID hit, when the pandemic hit, the reason why people who were in reefer and dry van and stuff were able to make a lot of money is because it was back to the three paper log days. You had
Correct.
no hours of service. So
It's EC
everybody that was
everywhere.
making so much money,
Yeah.
yes, there was
You
no, it
just
was completely
mhm.
exempt. I was on exempt for 2 years straight, just exempt. I
Wow.
never had any
Wow.
log because if you ran food, if you ran essential anything, you did
Correct.
not have to have a log. And they didn't
Yes.
say nothing to you. They just you go into the thing, how you doing? You good? Okay, bye. They didn't care if you were had what you had on there, but they didn't care at all. You were just running. And that's
Just
why
get it
people were
there.
making so much money. You're
It was the Alita Adams of trucking, right? I don't care how
the
you get there,
marathon
just
of
get it there.
trucking, the marathon, because we were
Yes.
turning them loads over left and right. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
that's why people were making so much money, not just because of what they were paying, but it was because we were able to complete much more work in a shorter period of time.
Correct.
So I don't know, you know, if they were aware that or even thought that it was going to come to an end. I think some people really didn't think that that would come to an end. But all good things, have an end date. And the
Correct.
government is not going to allow us, anybody,
Mhm.
to keep on just running, free like that.
Yeah.
So
And you're
I think
right.
that people were not planning financially for what
Hmm.
the numbers really are. The numbers that people were making, it's a little bit low now, but it's
Yes.
because inflation is so high. So that gap is really what's killing people.
Mm, you're right. And I think a lot of people during that time when they seen this gold rush go from copper, silver to gold, they bought the most expensive truck they could get to participate. At that time, everything was expensive, all the equipment. So I just
Hmm.
want to participate at any means necessary. And now the market is flipped, trying to correct itself. But guess what? That monthly payment hasn't. That new house you
Right,
bought, the mortgage is not going backwards. It's still there steady, right? And I think that's where
right.
it's gotten a quarter of the people in trouble. But I think if more people had your business understanding and willingness to say, hey, I'm going to make this work, I don't think we would hear as much complaining that we're hearing, right? Um, at least in my opinion, I think the business
I hear a
platform
lot of
people.
And
complaints.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
we
a lot
do,
of
but I'm
people
just
are
saying it
not.
wouldn't be as much.
Anyway,
Yeah,
hold on, you guys. You guys go and hit that like button, okay? All right, we we
Yeah.
we,
the
we are
people.
we are. I'm sorry, Miss Janice. Give me 1 second.
Hmm.
Don't you step
There you
over
go.
her.
I'm not. I'm not trying to, but I got to
I know.
do the. We didn't even do commercials today. Okay, we're gonna do a
Yeah,
commercial later
we're
on.
gonna do it.
Okay, hey, you guys, man, we almost coming up to 1 hour, man. Go and take time and hit the like button. This is a very interesting conversation. Please share it. Hit that like button, and Yeah, you there you go, Miss Jennings.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you earlier, but the people who are having a hard time as well are people who bought trucks and started companies and they don't even drive. There's not
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's not
that's
money. There's not money in here for you to have a $75,000 truck, a $75,000 trailer, and you can't even drive it yourself.
They call it passive income. You
It's
remember
not passive.
everybody and mama.
There ain't nothing passive about trucking. Ain't
them
nothing passive
online
about
schemes.
trucking.
Yeah.
Mm,
But go ahead, Miss Jennings. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you can't afford to have 150,000 in debt, and you have a driver that now, because you know the driver demand had went and bumped up their rate per mile demand. So if you know, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago you could get away with 50 cents a mile, if you're not talking to somebody and offering 65, 70 cents a mile, or you know, a huge percentage off of the load, then you're not going to have a driver.
correct.
Correct.
So you might be running in the negative, especially if you're out here, even with discounts. Right now, California fuel is still over $4.50.
Yeah.
Wow. And here go the thing too. The this is golden right here, right? Theo,
Yes.
because if somebody said, "Well, this and that," you are talking to a California carrier. Their overhead costs
Are way
are
higher.
way higher.
Yes.
So a California carrier,
Mhm.
hey man, I don't know. You got guys sitting in the Midwest, man. You got people in the Midwest ready to go and pull up on not JB Hunt, TQL. TQL's in 26 goddamn states and cities, right? I ain't seen nobody pulled up on them yet. Y'all ain't spent the block. What happened?
I wish a driver would. I
Man,
wish
hey,
a
man,
driver
hey, hold
would.
on. Well, they ain't got the fuel discount, so they can't spend the block on TQL. Y'all can't spend the block on them alphabet boys. But yeah,
So, but it with regards to like TQL,
yes, ma'am.
the problem is, yes, we all know, we've all dealt with TQL, but TQL is one of the only carriers. It's only a handful of the major ones that will take new entities. So they're going to always have people
Oh
who are
yeah.
going to take their work because they take people who just got their authority today. Their
Mhm.
authority to are going to
Oh,
protest against doing the work. They going to do the work.
you know
They're
what?
going to do it.
How did we overlook that? See, oh man, we got
Yeah,
her on the show. She got to
that's
call it.
true.
You right. You right. Hey, dude. That's an important fact because
Mm,
I remember in these groups when people were asking for helps, especially on Facebook, and people like, "Hey man, who do I sign my truck up with? I'm new. I just got my authority. I'm fresh out. My papers
What
are
does everybody say?
TQL, Coyote, JB Hunt,
C.H.
hold on,
Robinson.
CH Robinson? Yeah, CH Robinson.
It's the big three:
Yeah,
Coyote, TQL, C.H. Robinson.
yeah.
Those are the ones that they tell you sign up to
So
first.
we don't have the voice with the new entities because that's who you would have to have new entities say, hey, we're not going to use you because they're running them crazy. They
Mm,
take anything that pops up. It's the people that are a little bit longer in the tooth that say, you know what, once I got past my 6 months, I don't mess with TQL no more because I got these people that popped up. Once I got past a year, I could run these people. So I don't mess with them.
Mhm.
But
Well,
if
let
you
me
get
ask you
people
this.
who are still new
Let me,
entrants, they're going to run it.
yeah,
let me ask you this, Miss Janice. Stating what you just said about the new entry into this as a
new
new truck
entities.
carrier. Yeah, new
Yeah,
entities, right? There was a time where when you came in, you were still considered a new carrier after 2 years, right? But the first 6 months was a struggle. Well, a lot of people came in and they hit the ground running as if they were a 25-year carrier. There was no difference. They was getting the lows. They was able to bid on the rates, right? And the lows were so
Hmm.
expensive, paying so good. do you think that kind
Yeah,
of took the notion of
I,
running your business and learning your numbers out of the play? Because you walk right into the game and you got to start a position, you know.
exactly, because they already, came in with the same strength as someone that had been out here with a clean, record, nice, CSA scores. So if you had someone, back in the day, we used to try to find people with the aged MC that wasn't running. You was willing to pay for that because you weren't going to get the work. Now, you lease on with somebody, which, so that you can use their old authority. But you would always try to buy people's old authorities so that you can, be
Skip
able to
the
get
line.
loads. But
Yeah.
There you
yeah,
go.
but now they're not doing that. Now anybody could, they were able to get in during that time frame of, in the market. So now all those people that came in, during that time, they have now aged up to where they can go and get these other loads where they say you got to be 2 years in, 250K, blah, 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 cargo. So now they've been able to age up and now they're still making some of the same dumb mistakes.
Correct.
Mm, mm,
Mm,
mm,
mm.
mm, mm, mm.
That is true.
Oh
That is true.
man, this thing's called reality right now. It's called reality. Hey, you guys, we're gonna take a break because we hit that 1 hour. Miss Janice, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. But you guys, I'm gonna say it all the time. You know you want to buy your lady something really nice. So this we got to pay some bills. This sponsorship is brought to us by French Kiss. Y'all go check them out. Go on the website, check out something for your lady, and y'all can play pool together. French Kiss. All right, we back. All right, we back. We paid the bill. All right, Theo and Miss Janice. Oh man,
Oh,
what else we got, man? Because
I'm, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So you know what? We understand. We've got a very smart young lady on the phone, very good business mind, a hell of a logistics planner. We cannot argue with that, right? So,
yeah.
but I would like to get a little personal and just ask some questions that, as guys and girls that are watching and listening, you know, what do you do for practicing out here for safety as a carrier driver / carrier driver? What are things that you look for as safety? And also, do you find yourself sometimes saying, you know what, it's one of these days, I just don't got it. I don't want to hear from this person. Or do you always say, I'm going to wake up, put my best foot forward, and treat people how I want to be treated? If you could elaborate a little bit of that.
Well, I believe in the golden rule, treat people the way that you want to be treated. So, 9 times out of 10, you talk to someone with some respect, you'll get it in return. People have off days. I've had times where I'm like in my own mind space, I'm running into the truck stop. Somebody might, say hi or whatever, and I'll miss it. And I have to be like, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't meaning to be rude. I was just like distracted. I was in, if I can catch them. But,
Correct.
sometimes you do that. You're rude inadvertently. But there's nothing wrong with saying hello. I don't know why, just a little hello, a little greeting. When we used to drive the bus, we would give a little wave, when we pass each other.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the truckers, like back in the day, we would, you put your hand out when you pass each other by, especially on the 2 lane, just to make
Correct.
sure you okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Little
don't
courtesy.
salute each other. Don't greet.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong with saying hello. When you go into these places, if you want them to respect us, when you go into these places, treat these people with some common decency. Don't go in there, because you're irritated about this load. They're going to make you wait. It ain't the receptionist's fault.
Yeah.
Mm, mm.
She ain't in
I,
control of none of that.
yeah. I like that attitude. I
You
mean,
know?
that's positive
Well,
attitude.
She's just
Yeah.
she's just the messenger,
Now,
or he.
what about with when you have a run in with a rude broker over the phone when calling about a load?
So if I really need the load, I just might have to hit mute and be like, if I could, I'd cuss this MF out, you know.
Yes.
But I
I
need
knew it. I knew it.
I need the load. So, they're not going home with you. You're not talking to them ever again after you finish the load. You may not even talk to them no more after you sign the Raycon. Like, you have to really compartmentalize that situation,
Mm.
because you don't want that person to have that much control over how you run your business. That person does not mean anything to you.
Mm.
See, I can see, man. It's Friday, man. It's Friday. It's feeling good, man. And
Mhm.
this type of conversation is needed out here, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
they said in the official business podcast, we being mean. But I'm telling y'all, man, we got more than just hot dogs out there, right?
That's right.
We got a variety of food. You come over and get some steak over here. That's Janice right now. Or you come over here, on our Wednesday or Monday shows. You come and get some sloppy Joe,
Mhm.
or you have some chili on a Wednesday, right?
There you go.
It's variety, man. This is the conversation that you know us drivers, carrier owners, and business owners need to have healthy dialogue, seeing things from different point of views and different mindsets, right?
Yeah.
And but the most key thing is operation, because I hear some carriers and business owners out there where your operation is only emotional based. And I do. Hey, man, I'm going to tell you straight up from the get go, man. I do make jokes. I have a sense of humor, right? So I'll be like, emotional damage. When you're like, man, I want to just beat that broker up because they told me $900 and that lane DAT told me 3,000. All right, be it 3,000 then. No, I cannot do that. Why not? The computer says $900. You be like, dude, emotional damage. You are no longer thinking logical. And now you're mad when I tell you you paid all that money per month just to have an argument about the app number.
Yeah.
Emotional damage. But y'all go ahead, man. You and Miss Janice, man. Because
Yeah. They end up cussing out the computer. And,
yeah,
and you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, listen, man, she's got it there, man. I think more importantly, she shows you she has a strong mental capacity for this. Trucking is hard, and moving that truck every day gets more and more difficult. But
yeah,
listening to her, she sat down with a game plan. I'm going to run my business my way. I'm going to participate in this industry my way. And I
yes,
think that's one of the things that's got her so successful. She has a calming voice, which as a broker, I probably would just give her whatever you want. I'm gonna give you my cut. Don't even worry about it, right? Non-confrontation. So sometimes we got to sit back and ask ourselves, is it really the broker, or maybe it's us? Because she's giving us the game, it may be us.
well, it could be both, man. It could fall on 50-50. But
Yeah.
uh,
Sometimes my calm voice, and sometimes hearing a female's voice when I'm calling about a load, they think that I'm a dispatching service. I have
wow.
to make sure sometimes that I preface that I'm an owner operator. This is a one stop shop.
Hmm.
You're going to be dealing with me. I'm dispatching, I'm accounting, I'm the driver, I'm all of the above. So that, I can bump up the respect level and the way that they approach me so that they don't lowball me.
Correct.
Wow.
Because if they think you're a dispatching service, they will, not take you as seriously, or they will lowball you, especially if it's someone you haven't done any business with before, you know. So once, you talk to them, you ask them certain questions, then, they perk up a little bit. So they're like, oh, okay, this is not somebody who doesn't know what they need. from the load. And educate yourself about what you need. One of those things, like I said before, is know your numbers.
Ah, she said it. Know your
Yeah.
numbers. Oh,
Know
Theo.
your numbers.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Theo, you got Triple D down there in the comments said F that, Theo. So it's us with the S rates. Wow. But now we get back to that. We'll spin the block. We got Janice. See, she said know your numbers.
CS, know your numbers.
Yeah.
See?
Because what you can run, that's why everybody, you can't always be worried. We want to work together, because I have a great group of people that I've met in this industry that I network with. We talk about stuff almost every day about what's going on all over the US with our loads, what we're pulling. So we conversate regularly. And you need to know what you can pull the load for, because right now there's no unification. People don't want to be in a union. They don't want to organize and have a movement, because everybody is in me mode. It's me, myself, and I. So you need to know your numbers so you can know what you can afford to run it at, because you may be in a situation where you need to make $4, $5 to pull that load.
Now, what
It may never get there again.
Now, let me ask you this then, because I'm seeing people want to showing unity to go against TQL. Carriers are now talking about boycotting, and people are seeing carriers spreading that message. That even the gentleman Mike that was here the other night was saying, "Hey man, we're gonna get a lot of carriers together and boycott TQL." And then you see people down there like Triple D put down there in the comment section. He said it should be a standard low rate.
No.
Do you think we could come together and agree upon a number on a standard low rate, like the lowest rate that the broker could post it for? Any load for?
Are you asking me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Do you think?
Yeah, okay. Do I think that will ever happen? No, because there's a lot of things to that equation to get a standard rate. Because if I'm going to do a load that's what I consider a local load, anytime I do something that's under 300 miles, to me that's local. I might cross state lines or what have you, going Nevada, Arizona, whatever, but that's local to me, because I can do that and turn back around and come back home. That load, if you say an amount like $3 a mile, I don't want to get paid $3 a mile. So if you give them the option to do a standard rate, then they're going to do that. I know what I want to be paid daily for my truck, not just per mile. So there's different numbers that I have. Wow. So if you eat up my whole day, I don't want to get paid $3 a mile.
See,
you see,
so know your numbers.
I said no. She just validated.
Man, I should have just opened. That was a can of open up. We opened up a can of goddamn refreshness. That's a good call. Some common sense. Some damn common sense.
She speaks in the language of potpourri. Very fresh. Very fresh.
Yeah, man. Oh man! All right,
so, you got to be careful what you ask for.
All right, so this is what Triple D is replying to. Triple D said, if there's a standard rate, that means you can't bid under that. So a rate that a broker cannot go below. You think that the truckers will be able to come together and figure out a number? And like you said, we're gonna put it. Triple D, is you talking about a per mile rate, local rate, regional rate? Which rate? Because see, the standard rate, it gets tricky. In which market? Flatbed, dry van, step deck, oversized?
Yeah. Or region.
Yeah. What region?
Yeah.
So here we go. It's gonna give you. It's gonna come in. We got it, man.
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing what we're going to talk about. But Miss Janice, if you don't mind, can we gonna need you to spin that block back to when you said we won't we couldn't because your number, you consider your local and you just are not basing your local day off of just mileage pay, correct? Your business, like doing a local.
Right, because like one of the things that I'll do is I don't run just local loads. It depends on what I got going on in my life that I have to stay near home. I'm over the road. So when I know like a certain market is hot, I'll go out there and I'll zigzag around in that area because I know coming back to California until I find something great, then I'll hurry up and hop on it. But I know I'm going to take an L coming back. I have to take a little short trip to either come back or, I'm not getting what I want, like I did coming out or coming up there. So, I just zigzag and jump around while I'm in certain areas and I make a lot more money on like the local in the area and then come on back down.
Correct. And see, I don't think the standard rate, I just don't see that working. And a lot of guys are putting good stuff in the comments. You mean to tell me you're going to give me a standard rate? Now, what's the drive van rate? What's the reefer rate?
Well, I see what I see what he's coming. He's throwing out. He's throwing it into the atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
And it's good in theory.
Yep.
Sounds really good.
It seems basic and simple.
Thank you. And I'm not saying that you that way, Triple D. I spoke with the man on the phone. The man is highly educated. But this one right here, this one, the standard rate, this is me, and this does not come from Miss Janice or Mr. Theo. It's just coming from OB. When I hear standardized rates, I think about welfare. And I start to think about handouts. And it's never beneficial for the recipient.
No.
So that's just my input on it. Nobody else's. But I just, the standard rate, man.
Well, who's going to enforce it?
Standard rate, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you give someone a standard rate, in my opinion, then you think you have a fight now with what they're giving you? That like they're going to say, I already met the standard rate.
Oh,
that's what they said need to give you. This is enough for you.
Oh, that's almost like minimum wage, isn't it? Would it be like minimum wage of trucking?
Yes.
Where companies and brokers won't have to. Now brokers could increase their profits even more because they satisfy the standard rate clause.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Think about that.
Yeah, nobody's gonna go cheaper. Y'all let me put this up for Triple D. Hold on. We're gonna continue talking in circles. There's always gonna be someone who can do it cheaper than you. Well, with standard rates, everybody could go out of business at the same damn time. How about that? I'm just saying, man. You know what? Market rate.
You have to think. You have to think about can that standard rate sustain an operation that's 5 trucks or less, or even a single owner operator? Can it really sustain what you need to support your business and support your own personal life? I mean, if you start looking at what you're making after your deductions, are you making more than minimum wage? If you do $3 a mile, and what would have to be the amount of miles that you drive every day? See, the thing about me, when I became an owner operator, the one thing that I loved was that when I was a per mile driver, driving for someone, making 55 cents and stuff a mile, I was like, oh man, I need to make 700 miles a day. That was like, like it was just a steam engine. I was pushing along. I need to make these many miles a day because that's when it made sense to me. I needed to make what I was making driving the bus. So if I felt like I was going backwards, if I had a load that I only made 550, that's, the immature mind. You know what I mean? You're chasing the money because you want to do something else.
Correct.
When you become an owner operator and you become like, basically just like management, I want to make more money doing less work. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be using my mind, not my back.
There,
So
there,
if if you're not going to make, more money doing less work, it just doesn't make sense.
correct. Because running more miles means more fuel, right? So that means more cost. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean you're going to make more money. I
Mhm.
built mine on the premises of what you said. As a company driver, I'm trying to run 3,500 miles a week.
Mhm.
Especially if you're paying me hub miles, right? But now I'm an owner, and I have to really understand I can't run my truck like a company driver. I can't fuel my truck like a company driver because now I'm paying for the fuel. So I got to look for the cheapest fuel. And not only that, my time of what I'm doing to get the money. I always made more money running less miles. I've always had a cap, about 2,000, 2,300 miles a week. I was content with that, right? And I know some people they go farther and they want to run more miles, to each his own. But you're right. You have to look at that. And the more I'm thinking about this standardized pay, well, who's going to enforce this? The FMCSA. And we know what happens when they get their hands into something, right? We're going to have to give up something to get something. So now, what are you giving up to get this standardized pay? And there's 4 regions in this country, or 5 when you include the Midwest. Now, each region, they're going to want their separate amount of pay and how it's going to be. Yeah, that's your minimum, but you're right. OB is right. The brokers are going to keep more money when you have a base standardized pay because they're going to say, hey, we're giving them the industry standard. So if the industry standard is $1.50 a mile and we're not willing to go up any higher than $1.10, then we're actually giving them the above the industry standard, right? You are going to haggle up, but now that load that was paying 900, the average $1.50 a mile, is now paying 950. And prior to that, you could get 1,400 for it, but you want a standard pay. We're looking at going into what I would say welfare trucking. If you want to look at it that way, the government's giving us our food stamp to buy fuel now, right? Because we're the standard pay. So I'm with you on that. I just don't see how that is beneficial uh, to truck drivers out here or carriers, whether you're one truck or 100 truck carriers. I just don't see it being beneficial to go to a standard rate. That just wouldn't work, right? Because we know the average person is not going to want that standard rate. And here's the caveat with a standard rate: fuel goes up and down. So what if your standard rate is $1.50 and fuel goes up to $5 a gallon, but the broker's not willing to give you over $1.70, but you got your standard rate? You know what I mean, Miss Janine?
Yeah, because standard. Are we going to have that standard rate plus fuel surcharge that you already are fighting people for fuel surcharge? They just want to give you flat line rate, line all rate.
That's a good question. You see, that's a good question. They may say, hey, it's a standard rate. It's in the line haul. So there is no fuel surcharge. You gotta ask yourself, because I wasn't thinking from that perspective, but you hit the nail on the head. Is there a fuel surcharge with this line haul? And hey, we're giving you the standard rate. And even with the fuel surcharge, it may only bring it up to 205. And fuel's still $5 a gallon. So I'm with you. No standard rate. I want to have the ability to negotiate what I want per mile and how to run my equipment.
Because at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
people want transparency. They say they want transparency. They want to know what the broker is actually getting the load for, But if you
Mm-hmm.
do you really, even if you have the transparency and you know what it is, you know what you're getting, what the broker is getting paid for the load, are you going to be satisfied with the number? Do you
No,
know your numbers?
no, they won't be. And I can tell you why. The last 18 months, how many of them prior to January 1, 2023, how many guys were saying, I'm asking the broker what's in this loan? I'm asking for transparency. Let's be honest. How many of them were saying, I'm getting transparency from the TQLs, the JB Hunts, the Uber Freight, the convoys? How many of them were saying that? None. None.
Mhm.
Now we want transparency. This is my issue with this broker versus carrier thing, right? When it's going good, I don't care what the broker's doing. Who cares? I'm getting
Mhm.
mine. But when the market changed, oh, I need to know his address. I want to see him drop his kid off at school because I think he's lying. I think he's lying. He's got too much in it. What do you want? You want transparency 24/7, or you only want it when it fits your narrative because now you realize you went all year or 2 years and you didn't ask for transparency. They gave you what you want. Now they're pulling back and they're giving you what they want you to have, not what you want to have. And now it's an issue. That's how I look at this battle of carrier versus broker.
Uh, yeah.
And young lady, I
Hey,
will happily take your comment on that. I got a little passion. I apologize for that. It is supposed to be the Miss Janine's show tonight. Miss Janine's show. Mhm.
good.
And, oh no, not at all. I mean, I just appreciate the forum, and the opportunity for all of us to exchange ideas and have some dialogue. Because if we don't talk to each other about what it is that's actually going on in the industry, especially the small owner operators.
Mhm.
We're out here kind of like, lone wolves. We're not really communicating with each other about fundamental things about our business and, the industry. I don't do like a lot of the social media stuff when it comes to, like chiming in on different pages and everything.
Mhm.
But I mean, I really do try my best to network with people who can give me as much information as possible. And I try to give out as much information that resources that I have and information and education that, has been bestowed upon me.
Correct.
Sharing the wealth. Sharing the wealth.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you
See?
go.
Because back in the day, people didn't tell you nothing. You just jumped out.
You got that right. You got- Damn. Oh, that it hurt it too. It was
It
Yeah.
expensive.
did. I made some costly mistakes,
Yeah.
and I can tell you what I got looped into some bad contractual obligation because people didn't tell me to look out for that landmine,
Yeah.
you know, and I mean that's another rabbit hole that I was factoring, like I told you guys before, but that's what I
Mhm.
talk about. Know your business.
Yeah. Hey, Junkyard man, thank you for stopping by, brother. Thank you. Hey, everybody, man, y'all hit that like button, man. Y'all hit that like button. Uh, and please hit subscribe, right? We want to
Yeah.
keep on going. Um, it's this conversation, and then we looking at the chat, right? We're gonna try to do something if it's all right, if it's okay with Miss Janice. Uh, can we? I'm gonna try this. What can we get? Which one of you guys wanna? Should we do the call-ins? All right.
Mhm.
Should we do the call-ins? I'm gonna try to make sure I can switch over to call where I don't lose Miss Janice.
Mhm.
Um, and get this call in. You guys, y'all want to do a call in? James Davis, thank you for stopping by, James Davis. Junkyard Dog, I mean, I hate to see y'all go, man. Where
Yeah.
y'all going? Don't leave me.
East down the Eastern time. What
Oh
time
yeah.
is it?
Yeah, yeah. I
No,
forgot.
it's only 9 o'clock. We just getting ready to get spicy.
Oh man, the guys. Well, we could do this. We could do this, y'all. We could do this. Miss Janice, final words. We're gonna let the guys call in and we got to turn on some music because we about to get
Oh, yeah.
ready to Final words, or Theo? Yeah, y'all got it, man. Right now we had going on 1 hour and 30 minutes
Correct. Well,
because
listen,
Miss
I
Janice
was
got these people. Miss Janice got these people talking, right?
yes, yes.
And I won't. I would like for her to hear what they got to say too. You know, because
I'm open. Like I said, my way is not the only way. I'm open for dialogue.
yes,
You
okay.
know,
Ooh,
inform me, educate me.
ooh.
See, there we go. You know what? Hold on. Let's try this. If it doesn't work, then we will have to. Miss Janice, you have the other number, right? My other number.
Hmm.
What we could do, you guys. Let's do that, Miss Janice. Let's do that. Could you call in on the other number?
Okay.
I'm about to post the number up now. The number is going to get posted once Miss Janice calls back in. When she's on the line, we are going to drop the number. Call
Yeah.
in. We're gonna do the callings.
All right.
So because I don't want nothing to mess up. I want this. I think the ladies trucker, she is representing for the ladies out there. And this is to me, this is beautiful. Um, and this is so healthy. Uh, let's start the weekend off great. So Miss Jennings, you don't mind calling in and
Yeah, I'll give you a call.
yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, Miss Jennings about to call back in. And we about to get the show started again.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Well, you
you
know
guys,
what?
what you got? What you got? What you
I'm
got,
gonna wait.
Theo?
I'm waiting till Miss Janine pick up first. Then we're gonna start the second hour with the power hour.
Yeah, we're gonna start that second hour of the power hour. You guys go and hit that like button, smash that button, and you know you can drop off some cash app because I like to drink a lot of Red Bull during the show, right? Uh, I like to drink a lot of Red Bull, man. I'm energetic, gives me wings.
Yeah.
Y'all notice the internet is good. Y'all notice that,
Yes.
right? Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell
We
you
have
what, the phone hasn't rung yet. So hey, y'all, listen, we want you to call in, talk to Miss Janice, let us know what's on your mind. We're an hour and a half
oh
into this Friday after Freedom. Let's do it.
yes. Friday after freedom, you guys. Man, it's gonna be great. And just in case, do I need to see in that number? I got a W. See, man, I get it so excited.
Mhm.
Uh, let me make sure. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. Because I want her to call back in, and I want the three-way call. Do do do. Can you hear the music, Theo? Can you hear it over
I
there?
can hear just fine, brother. I can hear it. Got me
Okay.
rocking back and forth from a seat a little bit.
As you know, man, we got that relaxing, man. That's that California vibe, man. I
Oh,
know I talked some
California
stuff about
dream.
I like this California.
You know what
Yeah.
I like about Miss Janice, and I hopefully she can hear me. She
What?
said, "This ain't like a radiator. This like an air cooled engine." That's a Volkswagen woman right there.
you, yeah. You got all
That's a
right, all right.
Volkswagen woman.
Hello. All right. There we go. Miss Janice, are you there?
I'm back.
All right, you guys. Okay, we are going to do the call in numbers now. Here we go. Call in 561 972 2042. You could talk to Miss Janice, Theo, or even me. Hey, man, now call line is open. And here you go 561 972 2042. Make your voice heard, man.
Yeah.
The guy said, "Oh, SOB Enterprise." I apologize for that. The music was low. Oh man, I'm turning up next time. I'm gonna turn it up. It was some California vibes, you know, some California vibes, man. You know, just kicking the breeze and out there and just enjoying everything. You know, it's healthy, getting our minds
Mm,
right versus seeing everything. You know, it just to get your brain frequencies on a different level. You know, because
right.
we see all this anger, and this is what I say now. This is only me. I see some of y'all mad because you're going broke. Stop
Ooh,
being upset going broke and figure out things, different avenues and things of that nature. But I need to put that back up. I took the
yeah.
number down.
You can't use the B word before 10 o'clock Eastern time. Man. You can't use the broke
Man,
word.
man,
You
say
can't use
man.
that too early, Pep.
But well, here you go then, Pimp. Yeah, if y'all feel differently, please call in 561-972-2042. Other than that, Theo, Miss Janice, Theo, I think you were trying to ask Miss Janice something before she left.
You know what? I forgot, but I will make it fun for a moment till my memory come back. Miss Janice, I noticed you brought up a air cooled engine. You sound like a Volkswagen person. I take
No, not at all. I'm a GM person.
it. Okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. I ain't gonna put up with this. I'm not gonna be disrespected tonight. I'm out of here.
Oh, Theo,
GM.
sorry. Yeah, man, I thought she was gonna say
You
Tesla.
know,
I thought she was gonna say Tesla. Yeah,
I
because
need regular fuel.
Mm.
oh, shit.
Well, that's
Are
what
you
we
sure you're
call
from
California
California?
dreaming.
Yeah, are you
I'm
sure?
positive.
Because
Born and raised, but I haven't gotten that advanced yet. I don't want to depend on electricity.
okay. Oh no, hold
Mm.
on. Let me ask you this, Miss Janice. Have you seen a lot of companies out there in California utilizing the the electric trucks and AI technology? Are you seeing it or hearing it going on over there in California?
I've only seen them at the yards. I haven't seen any of the electric trucks on the road, but I
Mhm.
have seen a lot of the self-driving trucks between here, um, Texas. You know, I rarely see them on the 40. I don't think. I think I've only seen a couple, but it wasn't that Waymo Via, the
Okay.
blue one.
Yes,
Mhm.
ma'am.
I haven't
That's
seen. I haven't seen that one on the 40. It was a different truck. I can't remember the name. I seen on the 40.
Well, let
Oh.
me ask you this now. Since you've seen the self-driving, are you seeing them with the drivers in them, or are you seeing them actually going down the road by themselves, nobody in it?
I've seen them always occupied. I've never seen one without someone sitting up there.
Mhm.
I know when I want to say about 2 or 3 years ago, you could go on their site and you could see the reports, like the accident reports. I haven't been on it lately to see, what type of accidents they were getting in because they don't advertise them.
Correct.
Oh.
So you can go and see what they report. Yeah,
Oh. Now, what about this?
you can see what accidents they're getting because they're getting into a lot of left turn accidents.
Oh. Hey, I like what Mr. Stephen Wheelbanks. Triple D, call in, Triple D. Triple D. I'm sorry, Miss Janice. Give me 1 second. Triple D, you need to call in. Well, it's a standard, Triple D. We are
It's a
saying tonight
standard you call
it's
in.
a standard that you call in, Triple D.
Right.
All right, but now, Miss Janice, so they have left-hand turns?
Yeah, it's an accident report that they have because Waymo Via used to be Google,
Correct.
Yes.
self-driving truck, and they sold it to them. And so you can go on and you can see it because they had, I think it was in Oklahoma, they were trying to have them do like a testing with those trucks, and they're having they're having some type of vote or legislation or something about that in Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, for those trucks. And I know that they're trying to find and create the infrastructure for those so that they can fuel without the human being because they're not electric.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
So in Atlanta, Pilot is making um, one of their fuel station, like the fuel station areas at one of their truck stops, specifically geared for the self-driving truck. Now, I've driven in Atlanta. I don't know if I want a self-driving truck in
You want to
Atlanta,
repeat that?
but that's where they're putting their first. That's where
Oh,
they're putting their first pilot. Pilot Flying J,
yeah.
the fueling for the self-driving truck, so that it can be fueled without a person.
Wow. Look at that, Atlanta. Hold on, Triple D. You down there close to Atlanta, Triple D. Oh, man. Coming to a highway near you. Coming to a city near
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Well, here go my thing down. Steve, I bet you these motherfuckers gonna be stealing those wheels off those self-driving trucks. You know them crooks. Oh man, look at that. I'm taking the wheels off. Ain't nobody around. Yeah, I must agree with James Davis. ATL is the worst city. Now, I'm not saying the city itself. I'm just saying, man, it's kind of, with traffic jam on the
Because
285. Go ahead.
how was a self-driving truck? Because that's cut off central. You get cut off so fast, and I know they have cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
But like by the time I think that human beings still have a little bit better, recognition and execution than
Correct.
a computer. I don't know, maybe not. But
And
when
it-
those people come in off of that side, that back, like you barely catch them out of your peripheral, and they cut in to that little bitty sliver.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know. I mean, does that camera catch all of that?
Yeah.
and
Well,
who's gonna get blamed? And the insurance company,
correct.
would the insurance company even be able to continue on making those payouts? And not only that, I was looking at Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro when they was like they are against it because of the massive layoff. How these companies want to bring in this AI technology, self-driving trucks, and trying to lay off a large number of truckers. Like, dude, we should be against it. And like you said, Miss Janice, the cutoffs, I really believe they are rushing it. Like you said, the infrastructure. The
Well,
infrastructure,
technology is supposed to help us,
to me, I
Correct.
feel like it's dumb us
not
down.
eliminate us.
Well, look what Click and Go doing to these guys. They was approached.
Book now.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, I got Jay. Hold
all
on
of
real
these,
quick.
big old
Hold on real quick, y'all. Got to call in.
call from
James Davis.
All right, Mr. James Davis. Hold on real quick. All right. Mr. James Davis, Miss Janice, are y'all both
Yeah, I
there?
can hear y'all, but I guess I can't watch and hear you.
No. Miss Janice, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, then both y'all here. Okay. How you doing, Mr. James?
I'm doing great, buddy. How about you?
Now we doing all right, sir. Doing all right.
Hi, James.
Hey, sis, how you doing?
Oh, y'all know each other.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Oh, family reunion.
Yeah, that's my friend. One of my friends that I was telling you that we network.
Yes.
We get to talk about the industry. He's on a different, area. He's down south, and he gets to tell me what's going on over there. I get to say what's going on up here.
Okay.
So you always got to network in with people.
Hey, well, let me ask you this, Mr. James, if you don't mind. Do you run a lot of the East Coast, upper north, or do you run up and down the East Coast, or you really don't do that?
I go where the market is.
Okay, then like New York, Maine.
That ain't the market.
Okay. Why did I knew this was coming? Here we go.
No, I'm not talking about you, Theo.
No, I know. I'm just joking.
Oh, because I've heard this before in the past.
Mhm.
I heard that the Southeast is one of the reputation that the Southeast carriers get. From what I've seen and heard, is that the Southeast is the cheapest carriers in the trucking market. They go places, they ruin the market, and things of that nature. And the reason why I asked that question was do you stay in that area? But you answer it by saying you go to different markets and you pay attention to the markets and things of that nature. How far do you go out from home base, if you don't mind me asking?
I go as far as I have to go. I go to California if I have to.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Theo, you have
I
something?
mean, if you're trying to make money, I mean, like Miss J say, I call her Miss J, but
Okay.
like she say, if you're trying to make money, you got to go get it. It ain't gonna come to you.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And I agree. I agree with it. And okay, since we here, I'm taking the gloves off, but not against you, Mr. James.
Mm.
What would you like to share to people that get so comfortable and get upset because they can't no longer get their local lows? And I'll give you example. I give you example. Here in Dallas, the DFW area, water lows used to move for 550, and guys are moving in at 150, and other guys are sitting at home saying, "Okay, I'm gonna wait till these guys go bankrupt and see if I can get it for 550." But while they're sitting at home, they're not making income. You know, what would you tell a friend if you had one that was in that predicament where they were sitting at home waiting for the other person to go bankrupt with no income?
I mean, I couldn't understand how they could even do it. I mean, I don't work paycheck to paycheck, but you know, uh,
hmm
I
So
do like
would
to
you
have
think it?
a steady income coming in.
Yeah.
I like how you, it was starting good. Theo, you stopped the man because he said he doesn't work paycheck to paycheck, man. He was getting
Yeah, I
good in it,
heard
but
it.
yeah, but what you got, Theo? What you got, man?
Well,
Because
here's the thing.
this got to be
Now,
addressed, Theo. Theo,
if
hold on
you
real
if
quick,
you're
Theo.
if you're seeing these kind of
Hold on,
lows,
Theo.
go ahead, brother.
Theo, hold on. We got to address the elephant in the room. Miss
Mm,
Janice, Mr. James, and the two J's, right? They start their conversation off with don't live paycheck to paycheck, load to load. So I just want the listeners to understand that. Take that in. We're gonna circle back to it. But go ahead, Theo.
yeah, yeah. So, Mr. James, let me ask you this. Like you said, you wouldn't take that load. You don't live paycheck to paycheck. But when you're seeing these kind of numbers, let's say you're in Metro Atlanta area, would it be more feasible for you to say, you know what, I'm going to run instead of run this rate, I'm just going to leave this market and go into, let's say, Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina market, which is about 180 miles, and try to run out of there before I run a load that's barely paying 70 cents a mile. It's 45,000 pounds. It's wear and tear on my truck, right? Would that be something more that you would look at versus where we're hearing guys that say, hey, I'm just going to sit at home. I'm not pulling it. But the freight is still being moved while you're sitting at home. You know what I mean? So would that be a decision that you would make, or you just say, you know what, I don't live paycheck to paycheck. Uh, Financially, I'm budget out. So if I have to sit home, I'm not losing financially because I've got myself in a situation where I have my bills in order. I have a low debt operation cost. Would that be the way that you would try to do it? Or is when you're seeing these rates that are like that and you know what it costs to move that truck? If I could just give it a maybe get an insight of what you would think about something like that.
Your voice had went up and down, so I only caught half of it.
I move less loads, obviously. If I was a person that was looking at um losing $400 off of what I guess I would consider that would be like my bread and butter. That was
Hmm.
how the stuff that I made. If that I hate to sound like a broken record. You know your numbers. You need to know your numbers. It doesn't matter if John Smith can run it at a 150. You can't. So you need to look and see what's out there if you have to start running. Because eventually, if you say, "Hey, I can sit it out for 3 weeks," but John Smith may never go bankrupt because he can afford to run it for 150. So if you wait for
Correct.
John Smith to fail before you go ahead and get uncomfortable and make a move, then you may be sitting in that position for a very long time. So you need to go ahead and see know what your numbers are, see what's there that fits into what you want to do. Maybe, this is a local guy. He don't want to go out of the state. He don't want to go long haul. He
Yes.
want to be home every day. You need to figure out what in your market would pay you to still be able to stay home, because that's what's most important to you. So you need to figure that out. But not doing anything is not the answer. I don't know where worrying about what John Smith is getting for the load is not the answer, because you're not going to do it for 150 and they're not going to pay you 550.
I like that.
Correct.
You
I
have to
like
figure out you have to figure something else out.
Mm.
It was like I was trying to explain earlier. A lot of people don't understand a lot of stuff that's going on, and and if you don't understand, then when these rates go up and down, and then when they get down, everybody gets mad. But a lot of people don't understand where all this is coming from. It's like when all this coronavirus went on, everything shot up. Rates shot up, drivers shot up, brokers shot up. Everybody wanted to get a piece of the cake. So now you got so many brokers and so many carriers and so many people that started new businesses. Now there's not enough freight out there to support all of us. So now you got all these people having to struggle, like brokers. Brokers now, like what their overhang used to be, they had plenty of money to support it. But now that they have so many brokers to battle against, they don't have the freight they used to have. So that's the reason that a lot
They're
of them
getting
now
underbid, yeah.
Right. So and then you got everybody's fighting. So if you got one broker that's bidding one thing, you got another broker coming in. So I need it just as much as him. I'm going to underbid him. So after a while, it becomes a war with the brokers. But we are catching the back end of it.
I agree.
And see, a lot of people don't.
Because at the end of the day, the brokers want to make the same amount of money. If they made $20,000 a week, they still want to make $20,000 a week. So
Correct.
they're going to take it off of your end.
Right.
And to say that,
and it's not fair. And it's not fair.
mhm. And to say that, that's one of the reasons why I won't just blame the broker, right? We all understand there's too much truck capacity versus the loads. And we know the whole greater than less than sign from high school, elementary school. But when people are looking at it from that perspective, but like you guys said, know your numbers, know your operation. It shouldn't matter what the broker is getting if you're getting what your low number is or the number it takes to run your operation. I don't want to say your low number. So I just can't blame the broker totally on this.
Well, it turns into a business aspect of like what Mr. James, Miss Janice, even you, right? We got to look at all of the variables versus just the lowest hanging fruit, because it's talking points. It's a easy narrative, it's an easy propaganda to sell. All right. Believe this and only this, and we need to do this and get government involved. We need to bring more regulations. And this is going to make us, like Mr. T. Hill said. Mr. T. Hill stated that standard is not going to equate to profitability. Okay. That's the thing.
That's
And
a fair statement. A very fair statement.
So we have to see this. And not only this, I believe that the universe got us all aligned because Miss Janice is operating in the California market and still making it work. And we know what California passed legislation, AB 5. So it is a uphill battle for operation for California carriers, and they are changing it. And I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me, but here go the thing. This is living proof. I know she's one, but she's one of many. And if somebody says like, well, she don't understand, then my rebuttal to them is, I don't understand why you getting upset with a bid. I don't see why you upset, because nothing's paying in your area, because you only one person. And this is where it creates this division, right? And this is where
And I think that we need, yeah.
go ahead, Miss Janice. Go ahead.
uh, I think that instead of trying to be exclusive and button against each other, one of the things that I always try to impart, when I'm talking to a broker or what have you, because you see these companies merging, carriers merging, and so they're becoming these mega carriers and stuff like that. But during COVID, the attitude that we had, that climate that we were in during COVID, was supporting, independence, supporting small businesses. And we need to keep that narrative going. So when you talk to a broker and you're talking to someone about trying to, get either this contract or work this load, you need to, go ahead and impart that on them. Now, look, I'm a small business. I'm an independent operator. I am, the American dream right here. I work for myself. I take care of myself. I'm what, people strive for. And that's what everybody was going to, all the mom and pops during COVID, because the major franchises and companies, you know what I mean? They were shutting down, cutting their hours. And the people that kept us sustained were the small businesses, were the mom and pops, because all these people that were drivers for the mega carriers, and they didn't have drivers because these people went and got unemployment and made more money staying home. And the people that were making money and running were the people who were owner operators, you know?
Correct.
So
Yes.
you got to still, have that same energy, like support the small independent business. And that's what you want these brokers to say, you know what? We're gonna turn this around, and we're gonna support the owner operators. We're gonna give them, the bid, or we're gonna give them the load instead, because we want to, market that we're supporting, small businesses in America. But you got to push that. It's kind of like an algorithm, and somebody needs to put that out there so that they will start, taking the bait.
Correct.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
Now,
Oh, Triple D. Oh, Triple D. Now we holding hands. You damn right we holding hands with business owners. California
Kumbaya.
operation, California operation not different than New York. Here go the thing, man. I'm gonna make it clear for the people, man, and for the audience. I'm with business owners. I'm with people that's thriving and innovating and making waves. It's no different from New York and Florida. Hey, that whole state, just because, here go the thing, pimp. Just because you from New York don't make you a successful business owner, and it doesn't make you a shitty one. I just had that. Now we had who was that? Where I think Mike is from New York.
Yeah, Mike's from New York.
Yeah. Mike was a down that shit. Mike protest. Now Florida, I know you from Florida, but you haven't been up here. But yeah, man. But anyway, what you about to say, James? What you got?
But I was looking at it like this too. Now, I mean, y'all know some years ago, before they came in with all this ELD, people was making money, and then all of a sudden, people says, "Well, this new ELD, we can't survive. We can't make money." You know what I'm saying? That's all I heard. But then all of a sudden, everybody learned how to work the system, and then they went into making money.
Yes. Yes, facts.
They learned how to get around ELD loophole. You know what I'm saying? They learned how to work. So then they started making money. So now,
and time management and trip planning.
Right. So now we got money going down, and everybody's complaining. I mean, you like I said, you have to learn how to work the market. It ain't always going to be in your favor. And if you're in trucking business long enough, there's always ups and downs in trucking. It always has been.
Correct.
And it's always going to be.
Yeah, because people say that the government wants to stop us from making so much money, like when they were debating about the speed limiters. Now, I know that when I was a company driver, I had an open truck, and I was pedal to the metal, flying, because I wanted to make them miles and get it as fast. Well, I got my own truck. My truck is open, but you ain't gonna see me flying down the highway going 75, burning up my gas, messing my truck up.
Not what you had for
You
the
know,
Yes.
so
Yeah, yes, yes. I know many of guys. I know owner operators that will not go. I have one of my best friends. This is true story, true statement. I'm gonna see if I can get him on this show next time. This gentleman has record to prove it with the Garmin dash cam. He does not go faster than 67 miles per hour. He has a Volvo. He said, I will not. He has the proof. He runs ELD. He's the owner operator with his own authority. He will not go 67. And if he does it, he pulls reefer. And if he gets a load that's more than like 40,000 pounds, he does not exceed more than 64 miles per hour.
Hmm.
He's like, man, I want that. He just does his time management.
Y'all remember when they used to put the circle around 55?
Yes, sir. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember texting.
Does anybody know what that circle meant?
No, sir.
overdrive, right?
If you ever read on the side of the car, it says your car can get this many miles per gallon at this speed. That circle means at 55, you can get 18 miles to the gallon. It don't say nothing about 75, 65, what I'm saying. So it's the same as a semi. If your semi can get 12 miles to the gallon at 55, why would you drive at 75 when it's only getting 6.5?
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, it's something.
That's a true statement.
It's all about if you
and why would you want to go 75?
Yeah, if you're
On
trying to
14
make money, I
flies,
think
tired.
you got to adapt to it. I'm saying, I mean, everybody wants to go fast, but once everybody starts going fast, then everything else is going to happen. You got more rigs and everything else. But then
There you go.
nobody wants to know how can they save money. I mean, slow down.
Yeah. that makes sense, James. That makes sense. Because you're saving money.
You're in a semi. You're in a semi. You're not Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
I think most guys want to be bull haulers.
Yes.
Right there. Yeah. I'm like, dude, don't do it, man. Don't do it.
Well, Mr. James, you sound like you remember the old commercial, Drive 55, Stay Alive. If you remember that old commercial.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
you what? A lot of people don't know why a bull hauler goes so fast. Does anybody really know why a bull hauler drives so fast?
Is it? I'm gonna take a shot at
One
it
of them
because the
died.
cattle
One of them
cannot
go down.
sit. The cattle cannot lay down in a trailer. Or am I wrong?
It's when they sell cows, they get paid by the pound. They feed them cows right before they get ready to get sold. So a cow, well, if you want me to say it, shits a lot.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if he runs 55, them cows are going to shit a lot more, and there's going to be a lot more pounds lost. You know
Wow.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A cow weighs 2,500 when you feed him. If you wait too long to get him where he's got to go, he might weigh, 200 pounds lighter.
Oh.
So you're talking about 200 pounds times 100 cows is 2,000 pounds. Or no, it's what?
20,000.
What is it? 20,000. So 20,000 pounds at whatever cattle is going for per pound, it could be, you know what I'm saying, $8 a pound, or whatever.
Wow.
You're talking about 8 pounds times $200,000. What I'm saying, or talking.
Yeah, 20,000. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
That's
200,000 times the $8,
Okay.
times the $8 a pound. So that's the reason they go fast. They have to get them cows there as fast as they can because, when they pull in and get fuel, all you smell is manure.
I did not know that.
Because
And I thought it was if they went down,
Yeah, me
You
too.
couldn't risk
They can't
losing
lay.
because they stressed
They
out.
can't. They can't.
That's
They,
what I
they can't
thought.
lay down because they standing up the whole time. They ain't
Yeah.
got nowhere to lay down. Well,
Yeah.
a cow sleeps standing up anyway. That's what they used to call cow tipping. You go in the field and push over a cow.
Yeah.
Well, the cow sleeps standing up. Yeah. A cow don't lay down to sleep. He might rest, but he don't go to sleep. But you can go out in the cow field in the middle of the night and you'll see cows standing up. And like I said, back in the days when we was young, we used to call it cow tipping. You push the cow over and try to be the first one to get out before he can get back up.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So,
But
he is coming after you.
yeah. Mr. Bink TV got a question for both of you guys. He said, would it be better to run spot market or lease on with a carrier with a dedicated lanes in this market?
My information that I have with friends who do lease on,
Yes, ma'am.
the amount of money that they're charging you with what you're getting for the loads, and their loads are not paying that great either. You end up making less money than you would if you were a company driver for that same company. So I am a no on the lease on, and especially if they have you contractually obligated to only run their load, because you're now at their mercy with what they have, what they're sending you, what your options are. So you have all the expense and you still are being, dictated how you're going to run your business.
You're going to lease operate like, I guess there's different lease operators, but I'm what they call an OP. So I work off percentage. But I used to be a lease operator. Now, when you're a lease operator, you're probably it's going to be what you prefer. You can be a force, and you can take a cut. I mean, you can get a force dispatch and get more money, or you can be non-force and get less money.
Oh.
I mean, it's an option that you can, it's an option that you can make. I mean, but the only thing about now is like I was just talking about earlier. There's the freight is even the company drivers on my side. I work under a company, but the company drivers tell me all the time that there's just not no freight. They can't move like they want to move. They don't get loads. They only get one load at a time. Then when they deliver, they have to wait to get another load. At one time, like when I was a lease operator, I get 4 or 5 loads at one time. You know what I'm saying? When I deliver, when I go,
Yes,
just
sir.
keep moving. It ain't happening like that no more.
So it's across the board. It's across the board. So
yeah, even company drivers are having to see it. They get one load. I just left my terminal. There's 3 drivers there now waiting on a load. They delivered this morning and they still haven't got a load.
Wow.
I mean, they're good drivers.
wow.
But they just have to wait to find a load.
See, man, and this is what Theo and I want to tell the audience. See, this is why we like difference of opinion, getting other people up on the platform and speaking, because see, this is healthy. Because just the other day, the whole notion was it's only happening to us, and meaning a small few of independents, where they just feel like, oh man, we are the ones that's being put under the put in the pressure cooker. We are the only ones going bankrupt, or not even bankruptcy. I take that back. I retract that. We are the only one experiencing financial difficulties when it's the whole market. Go ahead, Jay.
The only reason it's hurting us so bad is because we are single operators. If you got a company, they got money coming in from different places. They got insurance is cheaper. No single driver can get as cheap as insurance as a mega company.
No, correct.
Because they got 5,000 or 6,000 trucks. If probably ain't paying. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of them are self-insured. They're
Yeah.
self-insured.
Yeah.
So they don't have that expense.
I have a friend. He's self-insured. He runs a big operation here in Dallas. Um, he was actually my mentor, dealing with government work. And I remember one day he invited me to lunch, and I was talking to him about we was doing a procurement in Arlington, Texas, for a street, a side street project, um, pulling up the asphalt. And I'll never forget that. He like, "Hey, LB, how's everything going?" I'm like, "Man, I put in this bid. I'm trying to get the numbers just right. I outsourced and got everything, and man, I'm just gonna break even." And we ended up on the conversation of insurance, and I would never forget this. And he said, "Man, you need to start looking at how to become self-insured." He said, "If I had to pay for commercial insurance, what you guys had to pay for, I wouldn't be able to survive. My company wouldn't be able to survive in the slow seasons." And he's in construction, infrastructure. And he's like, "Man, I became self-insured. I reduced my costs. Now I can really compete." So I say that I know people gonna be like, "Oh man, I can't get self-insured." But that is something just to have information about, because it's almost like planting a seed, because now you find out about this and you figure out, okay, it could be a goal for you, right? But then you start looking at other things, other overhead expenses that's dealing with your day-to-day operation. Start saving, start cutting back, so you keep more in your pocket. Not only keep more in your pocket,
Exactly.
but understanding the development skills, trades, and timelines, so you can grow your company, so you can become competitive, right? So yeah, and now this gentleman, hey, this dude got so many trucks. But I'll never forget that day. It was a sunny day. We was walking through his yard. He just acquired what was it, like 38 Peterbilts, day cabs, all automatics and things of that nature. This was right during COVID too. But yeah, it just this gentleman just brought up, when James just brought up self-insured. Yes. So as I thought I was doing a good deal. My insurance, I was dealing with agriculture. My insurance roughly $630 a month. Single truck.
Wow.
Yeah, 630.
Mm.
You know what the craziest thing was? I put the value on my trailer. It was up there. My value on my trailer was above 75,000 on my end up, right? And the value on my reefer was roughly 120,000.
Mm.
My reefer was 2 times the payment for that coverage for my reefer than it was for my end up. The end up came in just, if I remember correctly, it was rightly like 175. I'm like, what? 175? Yeah. The reefer was skyrocket high. But
Mm.
here go the crazy thing. Oh, I wouldn't even say crazy. Here go the ironic. I was most likely to turn over the end up than the reefer, statistically.
Correct.
So it's just weird things you find out when you go searching, digging, and you have that guidance, right? You get the guidance, you get the knowledge, like Miss Janice said. When I walked in a room and I watched one of the richest woman, I did not know that this woman was wealthy. I was in Fort Worth, Texas, and it was a TxDOT. I'll never forget it. It was a TxDOT, basically a meeting. It was about the procurement of, if you guys in Fort Worth, Texas, shout out to Fort Worth. It was about the 820, the expansion of 820 to 35, 35W going up there towards Denton, Texas, and going 35 south. All right, now here go a fun fact. It is a black woman out of Atlanta, Georgia, that is responsible for fixing Fort Worth highways. Yeah, yeah, it's a construction company out of Fort Worth. But I was during that meeting, I seen companies from all over, companies from New York, New Mexico, Mississippi, all over the place.
Mm.
But afterwards, all of this sub, so you have things that's called prime. Prime are people that are self-insured or getting surety bonds. Okay. And then you have a subcontractor. Subcontractor is basically a company that cannot get their surety bond, but has the capacity and capital in order to assist the prime, right? Um, so one of the primes was like, "Hey, we about to go and have lunch," and I put my name in the hat. I didn't know anybody. I just put my name in the hat, you know. And they were like, "Hey, we're gonna go around the corner to this cafe." So we all meet up, get to this cafe, and we sit at a table. And I'll never forget it. It was four ladies. One of the ladies, I'm not gonna say all the company's name, but I know one company that does a lot of things in the community, and it was Welber. Welber, and that's a construction company, a construction firm. I'm sorry. So we all sitting at the table, and the ladies, we were just talking about things, and what they was talking about was operational costs for 18 wheelers. How majority of the 18 wheelers on the job site absorb so much cost just on operation, insurance, and fuel, and driver pay. Driver pay, they was like, oh, we could do this, you know, because they had a fixed rate for the drivers with healthcare benefits, the whole 9 yards. But they were saying the insurance and the fuel costs. And they was just talking and things, and I picked the brain and found out that the lady was basically a billionaire. And I just picked her brain about things, but just to make things quick, and I learned so much sitting at that cafe with these four ladies.
Mhm.
It changed my whole perspective of about listening to the massive crowd of blaming, and then I had to look at myself and look at my operation, how to become competitive. And I asked that lady, where did you start off from? One truck operation. One truck operation. Understand your expenses. And some of these people, I tell people, go to these highway projects meetings, and you will see so many companies in there trying to figure out how to save. And some people will say saving is being cheap, or mean like they associate a negative result from a positive theory. Meaning, okay, if Miss Janice is good at pre-planning logistics with these trailers and providing a capacity of trailers, high quality traders, and if we have to go and deal with Great Dane with ourselves, and Janice, let's just say hypothetically, Janice is charging us 500,000. Great Dane is charging us 750,000. But then we have to outsource some of the project work because Great Dane only could deal with so much of the capacity, and we paying Joey or Theo around the corner 350,000. Look at how much money we're spending. Where Janice to say, okay, we award Janice the contract as a sub, right? And then when Janice like, okay, I'm gonna bring up somebody else. I know another trucker or carrier that's very dependable. She called up James. Hey James, this is the project. Spreading the wealth, keeping the project down. State's
Mhm.
happy. The state is happy. The city
Correct.
is happy. Janice is happy. James is happy.
We all happy.
There you go. And save money. Saving
Yes.
money
Yes.
on the project. So, I tell people, man, just think about that, try to
Yeah.
work with each other.
I know.
Go ahead, James.
I was just gonna make a joke. I said I know who he sounds like now.
Oh, man.
Dave Chappelle.
Yes, he does.
Dave Chappelle.
I never I never wanted to say that, but he does sound like Dave Chappelle a lot. He really does.
Yeah, he does. I kept ringing my head. Who does he sound like? I heard that voice.
See, and I said I thought he sounded like he was from Maryland. Remember? It sounds like he's from Maryland.
Oh no!
Oh wow! Wow!
Oh man, but yeah, man. But we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. Janice and James, before we let you go, could y'all any words y'all want to say to the people that's listening, man?
I think we all just need to work together. We need to share the information that we learn out here, and network, really network on a positive level, because if we can impart some wisdom upon each other, we can learn from what other people have out here, not just the highlight type of clickbait posts. We need to have something so that whenever we interact with each other, we take a nugget from it, and we can grow and expand our businesses. One thing that when you're talking about that, cutting down on some of our costs, and we're talking about the self-insured, insurance is fuel insurance, and this factoring,
Oh yes.
that takes a lot of money away from you, because you're if you're running or living load to load, so you're going out here paying, or giving away 5% of the load plus, whatever it is for you to get money codes and express, ACH, or whatever. If you're already running so slim, you gotta really trim down your budget so that you can stop doing that. Doing that a lot of quick paying and factoring, you almost putting yourself in a payday loan situation. It's just
hold
you're
on now,
borrowing from yourself.
Hold on now, Miss Janice.
We gonna take that word over here.
This is what we're gonna do. Miss Janice, could you please, Miss Janice and Mr. James, could y'all please come back? We're gonna do this. We're gonna talk in the background, right? We would love for y'all to come back and structure a show around that particular topic, and I think it will be very healthy. And this time, no call-ins. Actually, have you up on the panel, and so we could get the call-ins, right? So, yes, but I ain't mean to interrupt you. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I can say if everybody would just, like she said, just work together and try to run that lower speed and see if you can't see a difference in your fuel economy. Because I know when my truck is governed at 65, it will run a little faster, but I've noticed that if I broke my truck down to a lower speed, I have to slow down less. On a 1,000-mile trip, I have to slow down less because everybody is passing me. I mean, I ain't got to say, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's gonna save fuel right there, because if everybody is passing you, that means you ain't never got to slow down.
Yes.
Well, if that just simple math, you ain't gonna get there in half the time unless you're going twice as fast. So it doesn't make any sense for you to be speeding up to slow down, speeding up to brake. You're not getting anywhere, and you're just burning unnecessary fuel.
Well,
So when gas was $7 a gallon, and you getting less than 7 miles to
a gallon
to the gallon, you working under. Yeah, it was $7 out here in California, and you want to be hot dogging it and getting 6, miles to the gallon. You already way under.
Yeah.
Well, not only that. Go ahead.
And you got to think about this too. If you're running 70 miles, how many people have got themselves in a situation where they just beat up their steering wheel because they can't get out around somebody? It
Yes.
happens to every trucker. You get frustrated, you get mad, you call this driver this and all that. Well, then, because you're running 70 mile an hour or 75 mile an hour, and the person in front of you is running 60, and then you got all these vehicles trying to go around, so you can't get out. But if you was running 62 mile an hour, guess what? You'd be the one back there watching everybody else up there fight.
Yeah. Well, you guys, we got to get ready to rock and roll. But thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank y'all. Y'all want to get the I see Discord. So last words for you from Miss Janice and Mr. James.
Well, we
good. I
are in
appreciate
the
everything, man.
Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, we are in the Discord. We do use the Discord chat to, it's a lot of owner operators that get on this Discord chat and we talk about what's going on and network and rub shoulders with each other. But, I don't know. I don't want to necessarily advertise.
Go ahead if you want
There
to.
are options. Okay, so the way that we all met, thank you. The way that we all met and we started networking and we created this great bond where we have helped each other out with loads, discounts on parts, and things like that were all because we met due to this app called Truck Smarter. So Truck Smarter is it is tech based. It is an app. It is a free, 100% free load board. They offer fuel discounts that are, you don't have to have a line of credit with certain people. You can use your bank account, your debit card. You're getting discounts that are comparable and sometimes below what Mudflap uses, other discount fuel cards, and they offer factoring if you need factoring, and the factoring rate is very reasonable. It was at 1.5, now it's at 2. If you use their card, they take a % off, so now the factoring is only costing you 1%. You're not stuck on a contract. You can that because the factoring contract is the means to an end. You can't get out of them.
Correct.
And this, particular company, you can get out of the contract. It's no contract. So, that if anyone is interested in going into the Discord, we have a conference every single Friday. We talk about the industry with the people who are the curators, developers of the app, and they listen to what we say about what's going on in the market and what it is that we need, because it is geared to help us. It's geared to help the owner operators and geared to have the lowest cost to us, because it's supposed to help us to still be able to maintain, sustain our businesses. So if you guys get a chance, I can post a link. I can give you guys a link.
Okay.
Just look at Truck Smarter, because DAT is ridiculously expensive.
Yes.
I personally didn't see the value in it anymore. I was paying almost $200 a month to see the same load regurgitate.
Yeah.
On a different load board.
So yeah, so that's how we met. But it is a great place for us you to come together and network and get information. So I wanted to put that out there. It is Truck Smarter. I will be at Matt's. I hope everyone comes to Matt's, just because I want to be able to network and get some information, see what new tools and apps and equipment is out there. So I hope I see you guys at Matt's.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Theo.
Yes, I was actually looking for a ticket, so I'll make the announcement over the weekend or Monday if I'm gonna be there. But I think I'm gonna take a flight out there. It's only 2 days.
All right. Thank you, Miss Janice, for your time, your conversation. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem,
No
man.
problem.
All right, you guys. I want to say thank you. This was good, man. Thank you, Mr. James. James. Thank you as well. You know, y'all already know what it is, man. It's that Friday night vibe, man. Man, we got that vibe, man. We got that vibe, and this show, man. Oh man.
Hey, Pimp.
Say, Pimp.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Hey, man. If I was broke, man, now I'm smarter.
You're smarter than the truck smarter.
Hey, man, the truck smarter, man. Discord, man.
There you go.
Slave, man.
There you go.
Yeah, man, what you got, Theo, before we leave, man?
Hey, man, everybody know what I always say. Let's stay prayed up and strapped up, learn something for 2023. And I want to give a shout out to Miss Janice, Mr. James. They are proving that we should work together, because what you think is your weakness, somebody else has a strong point. Remember that. And to everybody, like, subscribe, follow Official Business Podcast, where we talk that talk. My brother, I'm going to let you take it home from there, and we're going to ride out with the music when you done.
All right, man. Y'all know I'm going to say this, man. I thank all of y'all, man. I thank all of y'all. OB for president, Theo for vice president, be president. But all day, all right. Official Business Podcast, man. Making it your home. Come through, back, enjoy. And with that, on this Friday night, think positive, be profitable, don't be upset, think outside of the box. And hell no, I ain't gonna protest TQL. I ain't protesting TQL.